like to participate? In the back, thank you.
I feel like everyone should know that all of council did a 20-item scavenger hunt, and this is only a 3-item scavenger hunt.
Did a 20-item scavenger hunt last week. So you guys have it easy. All right, good morning, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you taking time out of your Sundays. We have a really short agenda for you. John, if you wouldn't mind just going to the next slide. Sorry, one more. So very short agenda for today. We'll just do some introductions to council members, review of our 2024 priority, talk about the bishop's visit that's occurring in February, as well as some updates for Lent, a short financial overview, and then we'll wrap up for the day. So with that, I would like all of you to join me in prayer to start our morning. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together this morning. We appreciate the gifts that you have given us as a congregation and a community. I pray that you continue to guide us and help us spread your love and wonder in our world. Amen. All right. So just wanted to go through who is on council for this year. I am Leanna Cafaro, for those of you who don't know me. I am serving as the president this year, so if you have any questions or concerns about things, please feel free to either come to me or any other council member. This year, also Adrin Gantner, she's not here this morning. Glenda Lockhart, I'll just have you raise your hand or stand up as I call your name. Lisa Metz is here. Julie Owen is not here. Lisa Rosenbauer is in Florida for a few months, enjoying the sunshine there. Todd Shaber was here this morning. I'm not sure if he is back yet. Dale Schumacher is home with Ginny. And then Tony Thompson is serving as our secretary for the year. So we are your council for the year. If you have any questions or concerns on anything, please don't ever hesitate to reach out to us. We appreciate hearing all of your concerns and celebrations. So I just wanted to go through a brief overview of the 2024 priorities that we had come up with. We did share this with you guys at our annual meeting last fall. So these are all of the priorities that council and the pastors addressed for 2024. Specifically, a lot of what we're working on at the start of the year is the building revitalization. That was the goal of the mini scavenger hunt, was just to send people out, see some of the updates and changes that had gone on. Some things have gotten moved around, some classrooms have been repurposed. So a lot of that is due to the dedicated work of Mark Fink, who's been going through countlessly through the building to figure out different ways that we can be using our resources. So that is well underway. I think there was only a few of you in the back who did the scavenger hunt. How did you do? Did you fare well?
Yes. Yes and no.
Were you able to answer at least one of the questions?
Yeah,
Great.
I have two. Yeah.
What were your questions?
So mine was, what is located in the closet that you access from the bathroom next to the fellowship hall and its rooms?
So the closet in the bathroom next to the fellowship hall, what is inside there?
Yeah.
You found brooms.
Yes.
Great. So if,
What else?
Did you see any mechanical equipment? Did you go in a bathroom and then into the closet from the bathroom?
No, so I went, there's a couple. So next to the fellowship hall, from the bathroom, like the actual bathroom.
there are closets inside of bathrooms, inside of offices, inside of other rooms.
In the hallway next to the fellowship hall. The
Gotcha. Between the men and women's bathroom. Gotcha.
closet there too, so that's tricky.
We did go to the closet in the youth room.
The closet in the youth room.
We did go through many closets.
What is in the closet in the youth room?
A lot of like
Maintenance equipment.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of stuff.
Great. And did you find anything else exciting on your travels?
Yes, I mean, exciting. So my other question was, we need to hang a drape on the cross. Where do we find a ladder? I don't know if this is the correct place, but this is where I found a ladder. In the courtroom courtyard entrance number 1.
The courtroom courtyard entrance number 1, if you need a ladder either to hang something or if you're repairing something, there are 2 ladders there. Thank you. I appreciate you guys going on the scavenger hunt. Neil, did you find anything?
I got, where do all old TV monitors go to die?
Where do old TV monitors go to die?
I mean, I know the official answer, but the church answer, I think, is seasonal storage.
Is seasonal storage, is that the right answer? That's one of the right answers. Good job.
Yeah, and what kinds of gatherings would be well suited to the rooms on the Church Street wing? And I'm like, meetings for, different groups at church. One of them is now a workroom, so, I mean, we count money in there.
So the classrooms in the church room, the classrooms on the East Church Street wing could be used for a number of purposes, including money counting.
And the youth room is technically on that wing.
Yes, I think that's right. The youth room is on that side? Or? Parent. Oh, yeah, so the youth room would be on Parent Street. This way is Church Street.
No, that's where we have church.
I also don't know which way is north, if that makes you feel any better. That way is north. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you for participating in the scavenger hunt. We're glad that you got to walk around the building a little bit and explore some of the changes. Yeah.
So the council was really a good sport because this was Amy and I dreaming up, like, how are we going to start the council meeting? You may know that once every quarter the council meets on a Sunday afternoon, so we can have a little bit longer stretch of time for some more dedicated work. And it was the first time some new council members would be part of it, and we were talking about our priorities and saying, how do we want to connect council, and is there like an icebreaker activity or something? And again, you put Amy and I in a room and who knows what's going to come up. And this is what came out. It's like, why don't we actually experience our building and all of these changes and different ways of use? And also things like, did you know there's a closet in a bathroom and what is in there? And just kind of starting to realize that we own this space together, and how we use the space and how we engage with it is kind of not a passive activity, that we all get a voice and can start to know what we're talking about. And there were some discoveries, like questions we thought had a straightforward answer. Oh, it turns out there's like 3 locations. There are TVs still in the building. And so maybe that is for further attention. So thanks for playing along, because then when we started talking about today, we said, let's give everyone a chance to enjoy the adventure of exploring this space. Pat? Yeah.
Sometimes when we're doing the receptions, we need something, we had no clue where to look. So is there going to be a master list?
So that is one of the, So Pat's question is there going to be kind of a master list of where to find some things in the church? She was talking specifically about when we do receptions. I think that is a bit of what we have come out of this with, was saying, oh, we really do need to have some sense of what supplies are stored where and that kind of thing. So I think form is to be decided, but that is one of the things that emerged from the conversation, is realizing mine was, where do I find a box of Kleenex? That was added to the list because that was one of my questions, because I can't always find Kleenex. I can usually find some, but I can't find like the storage of them. So yeah, so thank you for playing along, but that is very much about this, the building piece, and helping to continue to think about using our building as a resource and ensuring that the building serves us well. So questions like that are really helpful. Thanks.
So the other thing that we'll be focusing on in terms of building revitalization this year, the stained glass windows, specifically the window behind the organ here and the window behind the where the bell choir sets up. Those two we are looking at getting refurbished this year. So we are working with Pike Glass. We are in a queue for them to be able to do the work for our windows. At some point throughout the year, we will also be coming up with a capital campaign fundraiser to help offset the cost of those repairs. So as we hear updates on that, you will be notified. We don't have an exact timeline for either of those items yet, the replacement or the campaign, but we'll keep you posted as we hear from Pike. And then one of the other things that we'll be really focusing on this year is the sanctuary refresh. There was a group that formed last year and started to do some preliminary work on what would it mean to update the seating and the flooring and things of that nature within the sanctuary. That group we are going to have 2 additional council members now join that group for 2024. Both Julie Owen and Tony Thompson said that they are going to help that group sort of move forward in determining what plans would look like, as well as costs and things of that nature. So we're going to try to kickstart that group again this year to move forward with the sanctuary refresh. There are, however, a couple of things that are new in the sanctuary. If you hadn't noticed recently, the live stream desk, they have now a permanent setup over there rather than just a folding table. We have some nicer tables up front for the communion glasses to stand on. We got the second TV mounted on the wall. So there's been some small things that have been moving along the way. So if you have feedback on anything, the pastors are always willing to hear that, as well as council and the refresh committee. And then the other thing that we as a council are looking forward to is that last line, expanding our understanding of community. What are the different ways that we can work with the community for groups to come in and use our resources and facilities? So we're going to have a small team working on facility use plans, just reviewing our policies and procedures for that to make sure that we are benefiting the community by offering this space, but also making sure that we've got some policies and procedures in place for that. Any questions on our priorities for this year? No? All right, with that, I will turn it over to the pastors.
Hi, Mike. So in 2 weeks from today, on February 11th, Bishop Lee Miller is going to be with us. He has made himself available to congregations, and so we invited him to come and join us for worship. He will be preaching and I think presiding that morning, but he's also eager to be in conversation with the congregation. So you have heard us asking, or maybe you've read in the Star, that we are wondering if there are specific questions that you would love to hear Bishop Miller address in that conversation. If there are things you're wondering about just how the synod and the bishop makes decisions about, the ways that they are present in the community. Pastor Hoffman suggested you might have deeply confounding theological questions that you would like to stump the bishop with. I think that's a great idea. Think big, yeah. Think big. But we're excited for his presence in 2 weeks, and so we will be celebrating Transfiguration Sunday that day, and so his presence will also be a really added opportunity. If you don't know Bishop Miller, he has been a pastor in the Upstate New York Synod for many years. He grew up in the Synod. His father was a bishop previously in the Upstate New York Synod, and And he is now, was elected, I think, in 2021, I think, he was elected. Yeah, summer of 2021, he was elected. And so he's kind of in the middle of his first term. And so it's really a wonderful opportunity to just get to know him and to hear from him and to hear about the Synod's priorities as they continue to work with congregations. So if there's something you would really love to hear him address, let one of us know so that we can just give him a little bit of a heads up, because he'll be more prepared if he knows what people are curious about. So, anything else? All right. You want to? Yes. Yes, we will plan to have a conversation following worship. So yeah, it won't just be in worship, but it'll be a dialogue opportunity following worship.
Which is part of why questions in advance, if there are things to shape that conversation, could be useful. I also believe that Bishop Miller and Patty Chafee were in LYO together back when they were little people. So, you know, I'm sure there's stories. So Lent, we wanted to talk a little bit about Lent. Pastor Amy made me talk about Lent in Advent, which I think should not be allowed, but this is team ministry for you, which means that the theme is well set and we are underway with planning. Our theme is Wandering Hearts, and so we're going to be thinking about Peter as a model of discipleship and finding our own journeys kind of reflected in parts of Peter's. Ash Wednesday is coming up really soon on February 14th, which is, 2.5 weeks away. And we will do, for Lent, our pattern for worship will be similar in that we will gather for worship on Ash Wednesday. We will gather for midweek worship services between Ash Wednesday and Holy Week. So those 5 weeks, we will do Hold an Evening Prayer. And we will have simple suppers beforehand, 6 o'clock. Those simple suppers will be served from 6 to 6:45. So if you scoot in after handbells or work or something like that at 6:35 or 6:40, we will make sure there is still food for you. So that'll be kind of a rolling time. But we're really encouraging participation in gathering around that table of fellowship, and we'll have some discussion, some conversation starters that go along with our theme. It's a great way to dip your toe into spending time with other people that perhaps you don't have a chance to talk much with. So we hope folks will take advantage of that time. And then we will go into Holy Week worship, Palm Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Good Friday, and Easter, of course. The things we want to make sure you know about. Last year, we did a noontime service on Ash Wednesday in addition to 7 p.m. That turned out to be providential because we had horrible weather and a lot of people came at noon and not a lot of people came at 7. But we think that is worth doing again. So we will have worship again on Ash Wednesday at both noon and 7. Then I said the midweek services, once we get to Holy Week, Palm Sunday will be at our normal time. And then Maundy Thursday, we are again going to offer a noontime option, which we did not do previously. Our evening Maundy Thursday service will be at 6 o'clock, not at 7 o'clock. And we will actually start the worship itself with dinner in the fellowship hall. So the worship will be on Maundy Thursday, of course. We remember Jesus' Last Supper with his disciples when he washed the disciples' feet. This will be our opportunity. Feet washing is not in the plans, so if I just put that idea in your head, I want to assure you, but food will be. So we will be gathering for a meal in the fellowship hall. We will do that in a worshipful atmosphere, and then at the conclusion of the meal and communion, which will be part of that meal, we will process up to the sanctuary where we will do the stripping of the altar and end in silence. We will return to the sanctuary on Good Friday at 7 o'clock, like we have in the past. And then we will have Easter Sunday at 8:55, like we usually do. And we have added a second service for Easter Sunday at 11 a.m. as well. And you can fortify yourself with pancakes in between if you are in choir and intend to be at both services. Or you can fortify yourselves with pancakes before whatever else your day brings. We will have that pancake breakfast in between. But we found that Easter last year we were pretty much bursting at the gills, so we wanted to make sure we have a space for everybody and then a chance to enjoy pancakes, because that feels like an Easter tradition. So any questions? The full schedule is on the website. If it's not live yet, it will be this week. Yes, Kathy, you had a question?
Not a question, a statement. It's not too late to send in a devotion.
Great. So Kathy Marana and Rory Schoenfeld have been working on our devotions. So again, as we've done in previous years, we are producing a devotional booklet that it can be electronic or printed out for you for the whole of Lent, and it includes submissions by people within the community. So on the theme and on other reflections of life and discipleship. So we'd love to hear your stories. Today is officially the deadline, but I am sure if you whisper in one of their ears that you are working on it, you might even have till tomorrow. Or the next day even. They're feeling very gracious, but please spread the word to make that a fulsome experience. Those devotions have been very, very well received in recent years, and it's another way to feel a sense of connectedness as a community as we share life and faith together. Any other questions about Lent? If you would like to be part of shaping what that Maundy Thursday worship looks like, the 6 o'clock worship that starts with dinner downstairs, please be sure to let Pastor Amy or I know. We are still giving some shape to it. I think we both have experiences of doing this in other congregations, and we'll bring some of those ideas. So we're not starting with no idea about what this could look like, but we'd really welcome your input. And again, to shape this as something new here, but one that can be really reflective of the season and of our own journey of Lent. Okay, thank you. Len. Do you have enough hands? Okay.
Hi, we have made it through our first quarter, which is always a little bit of a knuckle biter when we say, what is December going to come in like? And I am, again, happy to stand here to say that December and the whole first quarter exceeded what we did last year. So we have receipts of about $150,000 at the end of, or had that figure at the end of December, which is a little over 15,000 more, about 11% more than we had at the same point last year. So that's very good news. Thanks be to God, and thanks be to all of you for stepping up and providing your financial stewardship to the church. The only caveat or comment on that is that we are continuing to see more IRA distributions as it's just kind of as time goes on, more people are taking advantage of that. And generally speaking, what happens there is that it's more of a once a quarter, once a year even, once in a while, versus the weekly kind of things coming in. So the timing of the contributions over the year can kind of come and go. So we don't know what January is going to look like. Who knows? Maybe the favorability that we're seeing at the end of December will go away in January. We don't know, but we trust that it'll turn out. Yes. Okay, so the question of is it more beneficial to the church to spread out those IRA distributions versus just doing it at the very end of December? We generally have in our operations fund, we have enough cash, so cash flow isn't really an issue. But I do have to say that nail biting is a little bit of an issue in December when as the month goes through and I'm looking at the totals coming in and I go, oh, are we going to make it or not? So from that perspective, spreading it out makes the treasurer's job and the financial secretary's job a little less stressful. However, from a cash flow perspective, it's okay however you want to do it. Okay, so, and as far as expenses go, we're pretty much running right on plan. We have some ups and downs in different areas with our increase in giving. The line item for the synod benevolence has also gone up, but we do have some positives right now in staff and property. Some of that is probably just timing. So none of it is too cost concern. I think we're really pretty much right on track.
And just to note that the Synod benevolence has gone up because our
Yes, the
income.
reason the Synod benevolence has gone up is that we are contributing 14% of every dollar that comes in goes on to Synod. So the more dollars that come in, the more dollars go to Synod. We also have had some activity in restricted funds that I thought was worth a mention. As Leanna mentioned, the Stained Glass Window Fund will be doing a fundraiser for that, but a few people didn't want to wait for the fundraiser, so we have already had some donations coming in for that project, which is wonderful. Again, I think was to get the end of December, to meet the end of December donations. So we will be forming a team on that. If any of you have any interest in participating on that team, I know I had started some initial conversations with a couple of people, but it's probably going to be a fun and easy fund drive, I think. So let me know if you want to participate in that. And then the approximate goal of the fund drive for stained glass windows is around $30,000. We will have a better idea from Pike as we go along as to what the actual figure is going to be, but that's our planning figure for now. And we already have $6,000 in donations. So, and the other item in the restricted funds to mention is the IMF team opted to do a distribution. So the monies that were invested there, we get dividends, basically quarterly dividends. And so around $1,200 was taken out in dividends. And the first grant was granted to an organization called Keeping Our Promise, which is an Allies resettlement program for people who were helping us in the war and now find that they need assistance. You can find out more about that on there's the IMF, sorry, I'm pointing. the IMF bulletin board in the hall has lots of information on that. So that was my update. Does anybody have any other questions or comments? The house, okay, yes. We have a new family in the front unit. They have been worshiping with us a bit too. We've had no issues with anything going on there. The house itself has had some plumbing issues that are coming up, so we're addressing some things. It's an old house and you know, things need maintenance and that sort of stuff. And we have also have Bob Ruland is managing the properties for us this year, new. And so that has been great. He's been wonderful. And we look forward to a new chapter there on the house. Yes.
Yeah.
So far, so good. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenda. That was it in terms of everything that we had to cover with you today. Are there any general questions or comments, concerns, or anything from you that are here today? No? All right. Would one of the pastors like to lead us in a closing prayer?
You want to pray? I talked already today.
Hit your quota.
I hit my quota of words. I'm going to teach confirmation too. I got to like.
You got to save your voice for the confirmants. The Lord be with you. Gracious and loving God, we thank you for your abundant blessings on us as your people in this place. We have heard of so many of those blessings in this facility, in the generous financial contributions, and in the faithful leadership of your people. Continue to lead us and guide us so that the ways we make use of these blessings might be pleasing to you and further your mission and ours of loving you more fully and loving our neighbors well, near and far. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
I just thought of one other thing that we forgot to mention related to Lent.
We have prayed.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. One of the things we're going to do during the season of Lent is have an opportunity. You might have seen that our theme is wandering hearts. So on Sundays following worship, we are going to have an opportunity for discussion, wandering hearts. It's an opportunity, you might remember last year during Lent, our theme was ask, and we invited people to ask questions and have kind of a little talk-back opportunity. This is going to be the same thing for just adult conversation following worship on Sunday mornings during the season of Lent. So it's a chance for you to reflect on the devotions that you've read over the course of the week, the things that are happening in worship, reflecting on all of that and bringing that to a shared conversation together. So we'll be doing that during the season of Lent.
So one of us or both of us will lead that. It'll be in this time frame, 10:15 to 11 or so on Sunday mornings.
Yep. Thanks.
Thank you.